Sunday morning, we've had a bit of rain, the yard is shining. I've just done something for GB News. Oh, there's my dad. Yeah, I've had 2.5 mil of rain. Just done this thing for GB News about farm safety. Didn't realise they asked me to talk about why farming is dangerous. And then when I actually logged on, a neighbour of mine, Andrew Shaw, was on there. He lost his finger and also got hurt by a mower when he was younger. So I'll probably put it at the end of the video so you can see what it was we were talking about. Had a little bit more rain, the yard dried off, and then now it started to rain again. Bill's just here collecting some of his wheat to put back into his shed after we've put it through the dryer to get the bushel rate right. Andrew Webb's just on the Merlot scooping up, filling that trailer. The other one's here, and then overnight all the leaves have blown into there, so I've just got the leaf blower and blow them out. Just about get the leaves off the top, but not blow the wheat out if you keep the angle just right. Empty that bay now with the rest of their stuff. That's just nicely tickling through the dryer. Should be done in a few hours. They've got a little bit more to do, but I want to try and waz that barley through we did yesterday. The bushel on that was like 61.5. It needs to be 63. So we'll stick that in, get that done, and then get that in the back of the shed as well. That's spring barley, so we might even be able to use some for seed maybe. That's pretty low. Her ambulance straight over the top of the yard. Come to see how Joe's getting on with this cultura. So it's just making a tiny like inch of seed bed. 12 metres wide as well. $12 meters at 18k. So what's the maths on that? See, he's just made that like micro seed bed and buried any bits of stuff that might grow. It's a bit windy. We'll have a kite out in this weather. Oh, and then Parsley's run out of the way fast enough. Yeah. It's mad it's moving so much soil because it doesn't really look like it's doing anything, does it?
Strawberry going better when you go faster.
Oh yeah, bit of velocity on the tines. What are you doing, 21k, 22k? So that'd be 24 hectares an hour at 20k. 10% off the turning. So 24 hectares an hour, what's that then? 55 acres an hour, is it now? Getting near 60, yeah. 20 hectares is 50 acre, isn't it? Oh, it's got it on though, doesn't it? Yeah. Can't really see it. Oh, you can see a bit of a stripe from this way. You've got that little bit of rain, otherwise you wouldn't be able to see the lighthouse, would you?
That's this morning.
So you do 500 acres in 10 hours. See better going in this direction, guys. This fraction's making. some pastures before, and you can see them just like legging it, and then they're like, no, we're gonna have to fly. You're thinking through snow with the tractor, wouldn't you? But I suppose you can chomp a cover crop down with it as well. That is a piece of pottery. Now, how does a piece of pottery get in the middle of a field? Well, night soil, basically. When they used to empty the bed pans, sometimes it would leak. When they emptied the bed pans, the muck would get spread on the fields, and that's how we end up with pottery all over fields. There's today's birthdays. We've got Nigel Jackson is 60, and Sophie Kavanagh, I think it's pronounced, is the big 3-0, so exactly half Nigel's age, and we're now that's a 98. So 115,000, nearly £500. Can't remember what day it was last year at 100,000, but it's definitely up 15k on a year anyway. I'm going to end the video now. Bit of a steady day with that rain, but thanks for watching, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Oh, actually, and there's the bit I did for GB as well this morning. Bye for now.
Oh, it's been a tough few years for farmers because a lot of it down to political stuff and energy prices and feed prices and all the rest of it, and the inheritance tax. So there's lots of questions about whether things are going to get better under this government. But on top of all of that, there's been some real concerns about safety on farms.
Yeah, it's apparently one of the worst years ever for farmer health and safety was last year, with more than 30 losing their lives on the job. Well, experts are calling for more support so that farmers can make their safety a priority. Well,
our national reporter, Sophie Reaper, has the story.
I mean, it trapped my finger, and I knew straight away that's not coming out.
Andrew Shaw has been co-running his family farm for more than 3 decades now. Sadly, he's no stranger to the safety risks of the industry.
30 years ago, I was in a field, we were just topping some thistles out, and it was an old, what they call like an Allen type scythe machine, where the blades run across one another on a motorised engine. And I took it out of gear, went to open the gates, and it jumped into gear and went into the back of my legs. It took half my ankle bone off my left leg, went into the right leg as well. Luckily for me, it hit a gate stump at the same time, so it didn't go all the way through, because they said it would have taken my feet completely off.
25 years later, and Andrew also lost half his finger in a potato grader. He knows better than most that accidents on a farm are all too common.
Accidents happen, you're on your own, and our industry is very dangerous. We have big pieces of machinery that are unforgiving. You know, it's years ago on a farm you'd have a lot more staff than you do nowadays, so there's a lot less staff doing a lot more work under a lot more pressure, and this is where, you know, it happens.
In fact, last year alone, 33 people, including 2 children, died whilst working on a farm. And overall, farming fatalities account for 20% of all UK industry-related deaths.
Farming, regrettably, is the most dangerous industry in the UK. Farmers are around 22 times more likely to die at work than in any other industry in the UK. I guess the reality is a lot of farmers are having to really make do with really difficult situations, so running very old equipment, working in conditions that are not the best or most conducive to sort of safety.
Now, following one of the worst years on record for farmer health and safety, and with almost 80% of farmers asked admitting they've skipped safety measures to get a job done quickly, industry experts are warning that something needs to be done.
Really and truly, if we want to make meaningful change on the number of deaths that we have on farms, we can't sort of divorce it from the financial sort of pressures that farms are under. If we continue to not address this, farmers are going to continue paying with their lives and their livelihoods.
A farm can be a dangerous place, and now, more than ever, our farmers need support to stay safe. Sophie Reaper, GB News.
Well, let's talk to farmer Olly Harrison, who joins us now. Good to see you this morning, Olly. I mean, I guess for a lot of people, they don't realise they know that farming's a tough job, but they don't necessarily realise potentially how dangerous it can be.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, Andrew just said then the size of the machinery is just huge nowadays, and it doesn't forgive whatsoever. You know, it's designed to move things, squash things, roll things, pull things along. So if you were to get in the way, that's just nothing really. There's a lot of sharp bits. There's a lot of trap points. I think as well, one of the reasons farming traditionally has a terrible safety record is we're generally always in a hurry. So we're always like, right, well, we need to get this job done because it's going to rain tomorrow, or we've got to get this on before it rains, and all this kind of thing. And you're always kind of running round, and then there's so much else going on, whether it be politics or, you know, the financial constraints of the fact that there's no money in the job. People's minds can also be elsewhere, and they can forget to put a tractor handbrake on as they climb out, or they'll leave the machine running to save it, you know, a few seconds of starting it back up again when they get in to clear a blockage. And, you know, we need to get better at this because, you know, we shouldn't be killing ourselves going to work.
Olly, how do you make sure you keep yourself safe when you're on the job?
I mean, one of the main things is they tell you to always leave your mobile phone in your pocket when you get out of a tractor, so that if you were to have an accident, you could call for help pretty swiftly, because that can often be one of the problems. You know, someone might get trapped under a vehicle or some bales of straw, and they can't call for help. But you've just got to think every time you get out, right, what could be the danger here? And I'd like to think I'm pretty safe, but you know, some people in a hurry, they can get distracted. You know, I've never hurt myself, but I've damaged equipment because I've been on the phone distracted sorting out, you know, a bit of logistics on another part of the farm, and I've, you know, caught a gate post with the combine and things like that. And it could easily also be somebody else as well. So you have always got to think, but it is difficult. You know, I think most of the deaths on farms are either falling from height or being struck by moving machinery. So we actually bought a cherry picker. They're not that expensive now secondhand, and we try never to use ladders anymore. But there's a lot of farmers that'll stand in the bucket of a machine, the front bucket, and fall out. You know, or they'll use a ladder up on a roof and fall through it. You know, and them sort of things. You know, there's so many farmers out there that the statistics suddenly then add up. You know, there's how many farmers are there compared to sort of building companies, if that makes sense.
But I suppose the other thing is what you can't do is, I mean, you proper working people, in the most literal sense of the word, you can't live in some health and safety bubble, can you, with all of this?
Well, that's probably it. You know, if you go to a factory site, you know, I've been plenty of factory tours looking how machinery's made, or, you know, or fertilizers manufactured, you know, and they have the yellow lines on the floors for everyone to walk on. So if you're driving that vehicle through that place, you know where someone might be walking or whatever. Well, that doesn't really work in a field. You know, you could be anywhere. You know, I remember once being distracted on the phone. It was actually my grandmother had died, and I was ringing my dad, who was on holiday, to tell her. And it was a foggy day, and I turned round to see a tractor reversing straight towards me in the fog. And luckily, you know, I could one step and I was out of its path. But if it had been a foot the other way, you know, it'd have been two steps, and I'd have been knocked down by it, maybe worse. So that is the thing. It is an environment that changes all the time. You know, people have to deal with hills as well. Like quad bike accidents can be bad. A lot of people won't wear a helmet on a quad because they're jumping on and off all the time. But you know, if that tips over and it squashes you and you get a head injury, that's not very good either.
No.
Olly, do you think that there should be a bit more of a move towards, I don't know, robotic farming? Would that potentially help, or would that just put farmers out of work?
It's here, it's coming. You know, there's plenty of people using robots to milk things. There's tractors now that are pretty much robotic. That's driven by the fact that the labour shortage, to be honest, more than the health and safety, aspect of it. There is things now like robotic mowers that you'd use on like a dangerous slope rather than take a tractor on there. So that's helped. Another thing which I forgot about, to be fair, is we have tourniquet kits in tractors now. So a charity, RABI, we're sort of doing a thing about how practicing how to put a tourniquet on yourself, because often, if you've got your arm stuck somewhere, you need to do it. So I think they were on Amazon, they were like 15 quid. So I got a load of them, we put them in the toolbox of the tractors as well, because getting a tourniquet on in less than a minute can, be life-saving.
It can. It's a bit of a grim prospect, though, isn't it? Olly, it's really good to see you. Thank you very much indeed. Heck, I remember the days when the tractors didn't have roll bars and things. I mean, roll bars all came in, it made things slightly safer, but it's a dangerous business.